Okay, so we're gonna start on meatballs. I did not set a timer for the sauce because it's more of a visual thing. And I know usually by the time I get done doing my meatballs, we're gonna simmer a little bit more in the sauce anyway, and then we're gonna start our noodles when the meatballs are done. So what I've done is I've taken a fork. I did not use my hand. I've taken a fork and I've already mixed together the turkey and the ground beef. And really don't want to use your hand. The more you manipulate it with your hand, the tougher the meatball is going to be. So you don't want to use, you want to use your hand at the last source. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to take, remember I told you we had the bell peppers and onions? We're going to take this and we're going to saute it. Now let me tell you why. Because, you know, I like my butter. We're going to saute them. We want those vegetables to be soft in the meatball. We're going to take this, stir it around, so we can give these vegetables a good butter bath. And we're not going to cook them. We just want to saute them and soften them up a little bit.
Would there be a difference if you did margarine instead of butter?
Margarine is vegetable oil, so not much. I like the fat that butter has in it. Some people who are vegan, they probably will not use. They can use margarine instead. It's always an option. Most Italians would have used olive oil, while some Italians wouldn't even do it this way. I do it this way because I'm not a big bell pepper fan. I like the flavor, but I don't want to bite into it and taste that it's bell pepper in there. So I always like to saute mine a little bit more before I add them to my meatballs. And remember, this is about a half an onion and a half a bell pepper. So it's not a lot. So while this is cooking, simmering, we're going to go back to our meatballs. And we're going to add our seasoning. Remember that bowl that I had? Remember I said we're going to follow that same profile. Red pepper flakes, oregano, salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and then we have that garlic parmesan seasoning. Now we're going to, this is those herbs I cut up. Parsley, fresh oregano, and basil. Okay, and one of y'all asking why she keeps leaving this little hole in the middle. And I'm gonna show you why in just a second. Now, one thing about meatballs, everyone likes a good moist meatball. That's the secret. You want a moist meatball. You don't want a dry, brittle, how your scalp fill after a perm. You don't want that. So I'm gonna add a little bit, that's about a fourth a cup of Parmesan to that. Remember, we're making sharp cheddar stuffed meatballs. So see how they're sauteing, cooking down a little bit, giving that good butter bath. So they're softening up. So all we're doing is softening. We're not cooking them to they're translucent. We're going to soften them up. And we got our sauce simmering in the very back on low. We got our water boiling already. Water on the boil. And one thing, if I want this boil faster, cover it. You want something to boil faster, cover it. This is about as soft as I want them. See? Like that. And my chopping skills were off because it should be all about the same size, but we cook from home. Alright, so let's go for the meatballs. We're going to let that cool before we add them to our mixture here. Okay? So now, you see what I have here? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add my breadcrumbs. Now this is a by eye thing. So I will tell you about a fourth a cup starting off. I don't want my meatball to be too dry. And once again, I'm not going to go into with my hand yet. I'm still using a fork. So I've added my seasonings to this. I've added the dry herbs to this. And we're mixing this up. And when I go in with my hands, I'm not going to compact it. I'm just going to fluff it, if you can say. Because we do not want a tough meatball. And want everything to be uniformly flavored and seasoned. And y'all, I am so glad that y'all watching my channel. Let me tell you, I walked out on faith putting this up. By trade, I'm a faculty member. I teach very theoretical stuff. And I love my job. But I love teaching. I really love teaching. I love teaching things that can improve people's lives. So cooking is my passion. But teaching is even bigger than that. That's part of me. So that I'm able to do this with people that I care about, it's just a blessing. And I'm glad that you're watching me. If you have ideas or you can put a request in, you know what, I want you to make this. I'll be more than happy to do that because we're all in this together. So what we're going to do now is I've let that cool. It's not cool for too long, but I've let that cool. And the reason I want to do that, I'm going to add those vegetables, those sauteed onions and bell peppers. Oh, yeah. Wait, my arm. I don't know if you know, but I just had a birthday, baby. And shoot. Now the age is kicking me. You gonna say, how old you? Ain't your business. I look good. You know black don't crack. So yeah. And be like, you putting that, it's still smoking. Yeah, you want it to cool a little bit. But we're gonna make these meatballs immediately anyway. Ideally, you probably want it cool about 10 minutes. Turning the fire. But, you know, I am doing it this way so we can get all this done and simmer. So I can show you that you can get this done in less than an hour at your own home. Okay, so we're going to put this, because we're going to use this skillet again. Put that there. Now, we're going to go in one more time with our fork, not our hand. Now, some people tell you to add sour cream. Some people tell you to add all kind of stuff to keep the meatball moist. Some people have actually, they do it like they do meatloaf, where they take bread and they soak it in water. But what we're going to do, I actually learned this trick from an Italian chef. We're going to use warm water. So I'm letting my water warm up now. And remember, we're going to add eggs to this. That's what the hollow piece is for. So I'm going to always crack my eggs away from my main dish. Just because I get out any shell, it won't be in my food, and like, bam, there you go. So we're going to mix that egg up. Because we want to touch this mixture as less with our hands as possible. We don't want to manipulate the meat. That's why I've used a fork and not a spoon. The water's heating up. Now, so I've added that. I'm going to go in here with my fork again and get this all mixed up.
Does the egg help hold it together?
Yes, the egg is needed to help hold it together. And we're going to add breadcrumbs as well. Because remember, these are cheese stuffed meatballs. So we're going to add some more breadcrumbs. Because I can see that it's overly moist. So I'm adding about 1/4 cup. And you like this water. Yeah, water's going for a reason. Now, we're not going to add milk. We're going to warm water. And it'll keep these meatballs moist. You like that adding water? Yes. Now I've got that added. Now my hands are clean. In fact, I'm gonna get my lovely sister to get my gloves for me. Okay, while my sister was getting my gloves, I went ahead and I started heating my olive oil in my cast iron skillet. I gave my sauce a good stir. It's thickening up great. It looks wonderful. Now, what you're gonna go in, you're gonna fluff it. You're not gonna do like you do meatloaf. You're just gonna fluff it. That's it. See how I'm fluffing it? And then when you're fluffing it, you're gonna taste, okay, you can tell the texture. See how that texture is? I think I need some more breadcrumbs, right? Because I'm gonna put cheese in these. So I'm just fluffing it. I'm not going in and making it tough. So, I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit more breadcrumbs in there because we want these to hold together. Yeah, moving the bowl, baby. And remember, you already had that turkey, which is already light and lean anyway. So this is an important part. So that's how you'll get everything in there, right? So they can hold together. That's another thing by having ground turkey. You may have to add a little bit more breadcrumbs to get it to hold together. So now, what we're going to do, I'm going to mash that down. I want my meatballs all to be the same size. So I'm going to go down with my hand. See how I'm cutting that in there? Like that. Dividing the meat up. Okay. Then I'm going to go back in. Like that. Divide it up again. And then again. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, because it's a little bit difficult to do, my hands are clean, I'm going to take an ice cream scoop. This is my fault. My dad asked me to have everything. I said, yeah. Or I'm going to take one that has a divider in it. And I'm going to scoop it up this way. So that way it's a good way to make sure they're all the same size. And I'm going to roll. Right? So that's how one would look if you didn't want to stuff it. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take another one. And this is where it gets tricky. I'm going to make an indentation right there. I've already cut my cheese, all about the same size. I'm going to cover it. And then roll it. I'm going to get my assistant, my producer, to go ahead and lower that fire for me. I keep making these meatballs. Put it on low, indention. Cover. And roll. So we're going to take a pause. You go grab you a cup of water, glass of wine, while I keep making these meatballs. And then we're going to come right back at you. Okay, we're back. My producer had to go get me some flour because I forgot about that part. So I'm almost down to my last meatball here. And I would say, my daughter's like, these are big meatballs. I said, yeah, they are. But you know what? I don't think you're going to complain when you eat them. So we're going to roll those. And that's why it was so important. See how they look now? Even though you can see that bell pepper is soft and it's not hardened. So all we're going to do is roll them in some flour. Make sure you get the excess flour off. And the thing is, you want to put them all in the pan at the same time so they cook evenly. Thank you. And one thing, when I was growing up, we didn't have meatballs in ours. We always had the good old fashioned, throw some ground meat in there together. And there's nothing wrong with it. You see, I've made both. But the reason I like doing these meatballs is because what you can do with these, they freeze really well. And you can always go get you some submarine bread and then make you a meatball sub or Hawaiian rolls. And I'm telling you about the Hawaiian rolls. You can make little sliders. So you put the little sauce that you have left over, because you can freeze the sauce. Put the sauce that you have left over and the meatballs. I would tell you to freeze them separately. And then you can actually go back for a quick meal and take these same meatballs, heat the sauce up in the microwave, put them on the bottom, put a little sauce on the bottom of your Hawaiian roll, put one of these meatballs. That's why the meatballs are so big, because you only need one meatball for each Hawaiian roll, right? And then you have a little slider, meatball slider, make a nice salad, and you have a whole meal for your family that takes less than 20 minutes. So that's why I make the meatballs big, so I can use them for dual purposes. Because I'm like big on, when I cook on Sunday, I'm going to figure out how to make that stuff work all week long. And people get tired. I just have spaghetti on Monday. I don't want it on Wednesday. But you know what? They will eat a cheesy meatball on a piece of Hawaiian roll. So my oil is heated. My lovely assistant went and got a lid for my water to boil. So now they made about 1, 2, 3. There's not much meat on my pan in this. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. 20 meatballs. So now, I'm not going to wash my hands yet because, hey, I got to put these in the pan. So we're going to put them all in here together. You see that good sizzle? That's the temperature you want it to be. Because you're going to brown these, and then they're going to simmer the rest of the time. Don't crowd the pan. Everybody needs to be their own friend. They're social distancing in your olive oil. Right? Turn the fire up. Now I'm going to wash my hands. Okay, so the fire's up. Still not boiling yet. We're going to make sure that fire's on high. This one in the front is on low. And I'm going to go back in the order that I put them in the pan. You want them brown on all sides. And what we're doing is seeing that flavor in. And don't get concerned. You're like, oh, they're not that brown. We're gonna turn them again. So don't get concerned, right? And what you see is little flecks of that onion and pepper. Remember, I use the same pan to saute my onions and bell pepper. And the thing is, we want to cook them almost all the way done. But if you cook them too down, the sauce won't penetrate that paper to the outside. So then your meatballs won't taste like your sauce. Get the sauce. Oh my gosh. If you could smell it. See how all that, oh my goodness. It's gonna be alright. Sometimes you just got to get good to you. You just got to sing a little song to you. This is gonna be some good to your soul. There you go. Alright. You still see the carrots? See all in the pot like that. Alright. That's simmering on down. Remember, I'm using the wood spoon for the sauce now. My daughter, bless her heart. Now, I want y'all to look. Every pot I have in my house got a lid to go with it. Out of all the lids, this got a lid. She gonna get this. It gonna work, but, you know, but when you get good help, bless her heart. When you know better, you do better. So now we're going to turn them again so we get those sides nice and done and seared in. Remember, these are stuffed with cheese. And what we're going to do, we're going to cook them so we don't see any pink on the side, right? That means they're not done inside. That is okay. So we're going to simmer them in this sauce, and that's how they'll finish cooking. And some meatballs, I'm not going to put in the sauce. I'm going to cook them all the way through because those are the ones I'm going to use for meatball subs later on. Because the sauce already has all these good, remember I'm still tilted a little bit. The sauce has all those good herbs in it, but this meatball is already flavorful. It has cheese, so you can have cheese stuffed meatball subs. Quick, easy meal. So one thing I like about cooking is that it gives me a chance to express myself. I never did good in drawing. I was in theater. I loved it in high school. I think it was important. We give our kids opportunities to express themselves artistically. I played piano. My mom made me learn how to play piano. That wasn't my thing. If you look at my hands, you know, I got my nails and everything, but my pinky is a small pinky. So I never could reach over to that one right there. So I was getting them hand swapped with that ruler. And so I didn't really like it. But I excelled when I was able to do speech in theater. Because I was able to express myself. I come from a very large family. And it's all women, all girls. So you got to be able to speak up for yourself real quickly. So theater allows me to be whoever I wanted to be on that stage. And I think with food, it allows me that I know, see the cheese that right there? That cheese coming, boo-boo. We're going to nestle it in there. Nestle it like a warm set of arms for my lover. We're going to nestle it, baby. Bam. Bam. Oh, the cheese is coming. I'm going to put it right in there. Going to nestle it. Nestle it. Right there. Right there. We're going to just push them down in there. Yeah. They're going to cook. They're going to simmer. And that's why I put such a big block of cheese in it. Because I want you to still taste the cheese when you bite into it. We're going to cover it out a little bit. Not all the way. Now we're going to do our rest of our meatballs. So I have about, I would say 8 left. Turn my fire down a little bit. I want to burn these. And these I'm going to cook all the way through. Because these are the ones we're going to freeze and store for later. Okay? They're nice and spread out. We're not crowding. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're adding our noodles. Now, I like mine al dente. So they're only going to cook about, I got to remind myself, about 10 minutes. So it's 4:30 now. We're going to let those cook. And no, I didn't break them. You know, you always say your mama break them in half. Because y'all didn't want, she knew y'all was going to slurp on them noodles. We're too old to be slurping. So I put the whole noodle in there like that.
Did you already salt the water?
I salted the water before I start boiling it. Now these are ready to turn. We'll let those turn. And while we take a quick break, I'm going to keep cooking my meatballs and stirring my sauce. And we'll be right back by the time we'll be able to put this all together. Okay, we're back. Everything's ready. The pasta took about 10 minutes. So what I did do, we're going to put that right here. And the reason I put it in the to-go box, my lovely producer and daughter has to go to work. So she took her time to make sure she recorded me before she left. So I'm going to show you how we're going to plate this. Now, one secret when you're doing noodles or pasta, you want to put a little cheese on them before you add your sauce. And what happens when you do that, it allows the cheese and the butter, I did already add a little butter to it. It makes the noodles catch on to the sauce. So that way it won't just taste like sauce set up. So we're going to take some sauce and put it right there on top. I'm going to wipe that off for her in just a second. And just put that right there. This looks wonderful, don't it? We're going to take one big old fat meatball. I'm going to give her 2 because we're going to cut one open. And those other meatballs, you hear that beeping? I'm actually going to finish those in the oven. So I want to show you what it looks like once you cut it open. So that's what I'm talking about. That's the money shot. That's the money shot. Then I cut some more fresh parsley. And I understand I always rinsed my parsley off and I bought it with a paper towel. And there you go. Spaghetti with cheese-filled meatballs. If you like, hit subscribe so you can see my upcoming channels, as well as my Instagram and my Facebook. And you can always contact me by trusty dusty email. Thank you. And y'all come back and see me.